Good morning, Kinaway members, and welcome to another episode of Kinaway TV. We're excited to announce we have Adam and Carmel from Empower Digital back by popular demand to present a special ENCORE webinar. I'd like to start this morning's webinar by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land of which we are all meeting and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. In case you have missed Adam and Carmel's previous three presentations, they're all available on the Kinaway Facebook and YouTube channels. So please feel free to find and give them a watch, as there's some really useful content available for our members on some various aspects of their e-commerce and their e-commerce sort of presence. For those wanting to access the previous videos, episode 1 was all about how to start an e-commerce business, introducing participants to the fundamentals of e-commerce and encourage participants to think about how they can take their ideas and open an online store. Episode 2 saw participants introduced to the Shopify platform for e-commerce. As Adam and Carmel explained why they unreservedly recommend the platform for anyone wanting to build their own online store. It also gave participants the tools they need to take the first step on that journey. And finally, last week's episode, Adam and Carmel introduced merchants who already have an e-commerce presence, ways to assess their store, giving a checklist and hands-on tips to improve their site's performance. For today's webinar, Adam and Carmel will be diving deeper into the visibility and presence of your online business, particularly the Google My Business function. Before the presentation, I would just like to take a quick moment and remind participants of the Kinaway business tax support packages that are available. These specialist support packages help provide access to a range of bookkeeping and accounting services, preparation and submission of tax returns and BAS statements, online access to Xero and MyOb, tax and payroll obligations, superannuation and work cover obligations to staff, all at a maximum of $1,500 exclusive of GST for business. There is a criteria for eligibility and priority on a first come, first served basis. And if you feel this might be of use, please fill out an expression of interest, which is available on the Kinaway website. We hope you enjoyed today's webinar. If you have any questions, please post them to either the Facebook or YouTube channels, as Adam and Carmel will be addressing them after the presentation. I'd like to now welcome them both. And as always, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications to receive timely Kinaway updates.
Thank you so much, James. We'd like to begin by acknowledging and paying our respects to the Gidabal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we are presenting today. We would like to pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders here today. Also paying our respects to your elders, past, present, and emerging. And we'd also like to thank Kinaway for allowing us the opportunity to present this series of webinars. We feel honoured and privileged to be presenting to you today.
Excellent. So, hi everyone, let's get started. It's really great to have you here today. We're Adam and Carmel Wooding from Empower Digital, and today we're so excited to have been invited back to share some practical information with you about how to leverage your online presence to get more customers. To do this, we need to make sure it's easy for people to find us when they're searching online, and this is called Search Engine Optimisation, or SEO. Today, we're specifically looking at the foundation of your local SEO strategy, which should be a solid Google My Business listing. Now, for those of you who we haven't had the pleasure to welcome in previous webinars, let me introduce ourselves. So Adam and I began Empower Digital last year. We're really passionate about helping Australian small businesses succeed. We originally were meant to be spending 2020 traveling around Australia in this beautiful caravan you can see on the screen, doing hands-on Shopify and Google My Business. Sorry, it wasn't on the screen. You can see it on the screen now. Doing these workshops in regional towns. Obviously, that wasn't to be because of COVID. So this year, we're trying to reach as many businesses as possible through events like this one. And I'm originally a teacher librarian. So my love is technology and education.
And I'm Adam. I'm a proud Yorta man who has been working in e-commerce and small business for over 15 years. My first experience with e-commerce was helping my dad transition to selling online. So it was that experience of seeing firsthand how e-commerce can transform not only my dad's small business, but also my family's life. And that's where my love for e-commerce really started.
Okay, cool. So let's get started. So when we begin our search engine optimization strategy, we need to consider, how do potential customers find us? Well, primarily, Google is king. Approximately 87% of searches are conducted on the Google search engine. So if you look at those stats on your screen, you can actually see that people use Google to find information that is local, and then they actually act on that information. So we as business owners need to be where our potential customers are and to make sure that our presence on Google is top notch. So you may have heard of Google My Business. It's an awesome free tool that Google provides for us to manage our online presence across Google, including search and maps. I want to show you what a Google My Business listing looks like from a customer's perspective. So, oopsie, nope, not that one. Let me go again. So if I was going to search, say, for example, I wanted wardrobes Gold Coast in my search, you'll see there's some paid ads up the top here. But if I scroll down, these ones here under the map are known as the local 3-pack. They're the top 3 results. Basically, based on my search, Google has decided which businesses best suit my needs based on where I am searching. Look, it would do a similar job if I searched wardrobes near me on a mobile device. If I click on, say, Spacemaker Wardrobes, you'll see it actually brings up their Google My Business listing in a maps window. So you can see the listing has really great information for potential customers. So it tells me the hours, it tells me the contact details, it gives me a link to their website. It also gives me photos, reviews, all of that kind of stuff, which is really, really helpful as a potential customer. If I was to go back to Google and search for a business by name, for example, Our Business, it would actually bring up our listing in screen here. You can see it on the side of the search window screen, still containing all of that information right there.
So why do you need a Google My Business listing? It really is an exceptional free tool that can boost your visibility to potential customers. A Google My Business listing gives you a central point of truth for information about your business that customers can find easily, and allows your information to remain consistent across searches made on desktop and mobile, in browsers, apps, and on Google Maps. So let's take a quick look at what's important about your Google My Business listing and how Google decides who gets the top spot in that local 3-pack. Google looks for relevance. So how well does your business meet the needs of what your customer is looking for? You can control this by thinking about the categories that your business fits in, but we'll get to that later. Secondly, distance. So with so many people searching on mobile devices, having an accurate location is vital so that Google can match the nearest customers to your business. Thirdly, prominence. So Google wants to give customers the best information. So it will check your reviews and interactions with customers to ensure that you are reputable in your field.
Beautiful. Thank you. So how do you get this magic Google My Business listing? So sometimes, beg your pardon. So if you have an established business, Google may have actually already created a listing for you. So for example, if I go back to Spacemaker Wardrobes, your business might have a listing already. So what you would do is you'd come in and you'd click on Own This Business, and that would take you to the process to get started. If you don't have a listing, it's important to know, and even if there is a listing that you wish to claim, you must have a Google account first. So if you have a Gmail email address, that is your Google account. Please note though, you don't have to create a Gmail account just to get a Google account. So you can sign up to Google for a Google account with a pre-existing email address if you don't want to start a new one. Okay, so what you would need to do is you would need to go to www.google.com/my-business. And I'm not actually going to do it because it'll take me straight to my listing. So google.com/my-business, and it'll bring you up this screen. You'll find your business, you'll jump on in and follow their prompts to actually create your Google My Business listing.
So it's really important to note that when you are signing up for your listing, Google will need to verify your ownership of your business. So they do this in one of two ways. First of all, if your business has a physical location, so such as a storefront, and it has a landline, you can verify by receiving a phone call, which will give you a special code that you will enter into your Google My Business account. However, if your business does not have a landline, Google actually needs to verify your business by sending a postcard which contains a special code, and this postcard that gets sent out can take a couple of weeks to arrive. At the moment, during the COVID pandemic, we've actually been helping businesses set up their listings, and it's taken anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks for the postcard to arrive at the moment. So if you do go through that process and it's taking a while for you to receive your postcard, just hang in there because it will arrive eventually. So if you do select the postcard option, after you've clicked that verify button, it's really important that you don't go in and change anything in your listing after you've clicked the verify button, because every time you go in during that verification process and you make a change to your listing, this change prompts Google to send you out a new postcard with a new code every time you make a change. So after you've clicked the verify button, just be patient and hang in there. Wait till you've received your postcard and go through that verification process. After it's verified, then you can go your hardest and start making changes to your listing after that.
Beautiful. Yes, we've had clients that have ended up with 6 postcards and they didn't know which one to use. So really important step there. Okay, if you've already got a Google My Business listing, let's talk about how you manage it. So from Google, if you go to the app launcher up here, which is your little 9 dots, you click and you scroll down and you'll find this little blue house, which is your My Business. Okay, so that's when you come on here, you get to the home screen of your Google My Business listing.
Okay, so the first thing that you can do with a Google My Business account is to manage your information. So to do this, on the left-hand side here, I can click on the info menu. And in here, I can edit all of the information regarding my business. So initially, it's really vital that all the information about my business presented online is consistent across all platforms. So it's really important that you make sure your business name and contact number in your Google My Business listing are the same as the information on your website, on your social media platforms, and so on. The reason for that is that Google brings in information from various different profiles that you may have across the web. So your Facebook page or other local search engines. It'll pull in all of your reviews and other snippets of information and display those on your Google My Business account. And so it does that by the name that you have across all of your business profiles. So if your business name is listed slightly differently on Facebook or on your website, Google can get a bit confused. So if you have your business name the same across all of your different profiles, that's really helpful to ensure that Google can find your business and those reviews to pull in. So next, I need to make sure that I have all of the categories relating to my business listed in my profile. So it's best practice. So you can see our categories up here directly under our name. So it's best practice to think about the primary service or offering your business has and make this your primary category so that you can then add all other services you provide as secondary categories. So Google has an extensive list of categories available, but you must choose from their options. Unfortunately, you can't just create your own categories. You have to work within Google's predefined categories. So I'm just noticing here that we don't have web design as one of our categories. So I'll just add that now. So I can just click on that add another category and search for web designer and apply that. It is important to note every time you do make a change to your listing, Google goes through a short review process. They just make sure that the changes that you're making and the categories that you're adding do actually match what your business is about. So that usually takes anywhere from 15 minutes to a couple of hours, or even a couple of days sometimes. So if you have a physical store, you can add the location in here. So if you work from home and you don't want, so this is just under this second pencil icon here, you can add your business location into this this area here, and that will then be shown, that address will then be shown on your Google My Business profile.
And the benefit of having that is for those mobile searches where someone says, you know, chemist near me, that's where Google goes to find the point of truth for where you can be located, and it promotes you for that location section of the 3 reasons Google will choose you.
Yes, exactly. However, we do understand, and Google understands, that not every business wants customers coming to their actual address. So if you may work from home, or there might be some other reason that you don't want people visiting your location. So if that's the case, you can leave this area here as just blank, and that will then prompt Google to not actually show a physical location for your listing. But then you can use this service areas under here, and you can list the locations that your business services. So for us, we service clients Australia-wide because we can work with our clients remotely. So we've just put Australia as our service area, and because we're actually located in Warwick, we've decided to put that in there as well. And so that just ensures that your listing will come up for people who are searching for, say, web designer in Warwick or Australia-wide.
Fabulous. Thank you. Okay. So the next thing it's really important to do is, you'll see under service areas, it's got your hours of operation. Now, please, it's really important to make sure that these are correct and consistent, because customers use this to know when you're open. As a customer myself, I know that this has happened to me, and I find it so frustrating to go to Google and look for a business and say, oh yeah, it's open, and then turn up at their door and they're actually closed. So it's really easy. Again, you just click the button, and you can just pop those hours in there, and just make sure, you know, just review your Google listing, make sure that it's correct in light of COVID and all of that kind of stuff. A new feature that they've actually added due to the COVID crisis is this more hours section. So this is if, say, you might have special hours. So if you might be a hotel and you're open from 10 a.m. till 9 p.m., but you're open for meals from 2 till 4. So you can add things like that in this more hours section. You can say, okay, well, we're open for takeaway between this and this, and that'll add that to your profile, which is a really nifty thing that's quite new to the Google My Business listing. Okay, the other thing, Google actually is really great, because once you get started with your Google My Business listing, they will actually email you before major public holidays to prompt you. But if you've got the time, I'd really recommend you go in every so often and just update these special hours. So these are things that might be a local public holiday. It might even be just be something that's happening in your life. You know, you might be going on holiday. Jump in here and change those special hours for those times. That way you don't have to change your main hours. You know, they remain consistent, but it'll just say, hey, on these days we're not open, or on these days we have reduced hours. So that's a really nifty feature as well. Okay, next, your phone number. Obviously, as Adam mentioned earlier, please try and make sure this information is consistent across your profiles. So make sure the number you've got here is the same number that you're promoting on your website, and the same number that you're promoting on your social media feeds. Now, this is a really nifty tool too that's probably 12 to 18 months old. It's this little @ symbol. It's the short name for your business. So it's customizable, and so try really hard to get something that's as close to your business name as possible. Or if it's already taken, maybe try and add an AU on the end, or if you're in Melbourne, a MEL on the end, because this is really powerful. It gives you a short URL for Google. So when we get to reviews later, you'll see that you can really easily have a short link that you can send to your customers to say, hey, give me a review, without this big long URL that nobody can understand. Okay. The next few sections will actually be specific to the type of business that you're running, but they can be really, really great. So first of all, we have appointment links. So if you're a consultant or a service-based business and you run maybe Calendly or what's
Acuity,
one of those appointment booking specific softwares or platforms, you can actually put the link to there so that people can be prompted directly from your Google My Business listing to jump on and make an appointment with you directly. Similarly, for services, if you're a consultant or a carpet cleaner or anything like that, you can actually add your services here. So they can be under headings. If you're an accountant and you do, tax planning and tax returns, you can actually put in your services and the amount that they cost your customers. Now, the thing I love about this is, as a customer myself, I find transparent pricing really, really attractive when I'm shopping online, or even when I'm searching for a service online, because then I don't have to second guess, am I going to be able to afford it? Is it for me? Is it, it's right there. And I'm also saving the business time as well, because I'm not taking up their time doing quotes or me having to ring them and say, well, how much would you charge for this? So it's a time saver for the business, but it's actually also really, really attractive for customers as well. Let me go back to my info. Okay, under that, so if you're a product-based business, you can actually use this section to highlight specific products that you sell. Now, please be aware, it doesn't automatically bring your catalog in from your online store. So it's probably not something you'll want to do for your whole catalog. Generally, we advise clients to use it maybe for if there's a new product or a product that's selling really well, or maybe a product that's not selling well, but you think should be out there in the market a bit more. You can add your product photo, the name, you can put it in a category, and then you can actually add a button that will link back to your online store. Obviously, Google My Business listing won't allow them to check out or anything like that here. It doesn't have that functionality, but it certainly can refer them back to your online store straight away, and they can buy it really, really easily. Okay. And then finally, well, not finally, beg your pardon, there's a couple more things. So where it says highlights and service options, these are actually attributes that are, again, specific to the type of business that you're running. So for me, there's limited options. But if you were running, say, a hotel or a restaurant, it might have options there like outdoor seating available, disability friendly, things like that. So just no matter what business you're in, jump on there and check if there's any attributes or service options that are relevant to what you do.
Yeah, I just want to jump in there and say, unfortunately, at the moment, Google does not give businesses the option to add their own attributes. It's only specific attributes that Google's already set up for those specific categories, and that relates back to the categories that you choose up the top here in this section. So depending on which categories you choose for your business, that will determine what attributes are then unlocked for you to add to your listing. But you can't add your own yet, unfortunately.
That's right. Okay, and then down here, we've got a business description. Now, it's really great. This is 750 characters that you're allowed to use here. Try really, really hard to get a really well-written business description. So it might include a little bit of your business story, what sets you apart from your competitors, and why customers should choose you. So put some thought into that one. It's really, really handy to succinctly give customers kind of a real insight into your business and who you are. And then finally, you can put when you opened. Just, good to have there, nice to know, that kind of thing.
Thank you. The last option down the list in the info section is the photos, adding photos. So it is extremely important to add photos to your listing. Having photos and updating them or adding to them regularly really gives your business currency and allows potential customers to get a real feel for your business. So to add photos, you can just click on that add photos button, and up here there's a blue plus symbol, and you can just very easily go through that process of adding photos to your listing. You'll also see that there are a variety of categories here, so at work and team and so on. where you can also add, say, a cover photo and logos as well for your listing. So making sure that your information is up to date and consistent adds relevance when Google considers your business. I think as well in here you can add some videos, and you can also, if you have a shop or a storefront, you can even add a virtual walkthrough as well for your business that gives customers the ability to virtually see inside your store. And
really, that's it's so great to be able to do that, because as we were speaking about in one of our previous webinars about on a product page, those images being the customer's experience of your product. It's the same with these photos and videos. When we see, Google Street View of your business, customers kind of then can go, oh, wow, okay, well, I know what I'm looking for when I drive down the street. But the really great thing about having those photos and videos in there is customers know who to expect when they walk in. Say, for example, if you're a hairdresser, they kind of get a sense of the atmosphere of what the store is going to be like. They know who the team are. It gives them a sense of your identity. And that's really good because it allows customers to feel comfortable with you before they actually even set foot in your door. And that's a good thing. People are going to be more likely to have a relationship with you if they feel like they already know you.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous.
Definitely.
Okay, so the second major role of a Google My Business listing is to connect you with your customers and allow you to foster that relationship with them. Now, the first way that we can do this is by creating posts. A post is basically an announcement that has a limited lifespan. Google only leaves it there for 7 days. So it's a great snapshot of your business that can catch a customer's attention. You can add a post with offers, updates, events, or even highlighting those specific products. And your posts can be shared directly from your Google My Business listing to your socials, such as Facebook. Being visual creatures, a post is really so much more appealing and out there if you ensure it's accompanied by a photo. So if we have a look over here, at posts, you'll see that we obviously need to do a bit more posts because you can see our second last post was in December. So at the moment, Google's allowing you to do a COVID-19 update, which may be a once-off or maybe regularly. This week we're open this time, everyone stay safe out there. You can add an offer. So, for example, again, add your photo or your video, an offer title, tell people how long the offer's for. I'm going to just do one. Free Shopify development stores. Okay. And I'm starting today and I'm ending in a week's time. Okay. And then I can add, we'd love to set you up with a free trial to try out Shopify. Now, you can also have a voucher or a discount code if that's what you'd like to do. Did I just delete all that? Oh, no, there it is. Excellent. Terms and conditions, all of that kind of thing. As I said, it really is better with a photo, but I haven't got one prepared, so I'm just going to say publish. Okay, and it'll come up there. You'll see then if I go to our Google My Business listing,
can take a little while for that.
It can take a little while
for that
to sync across.
Sync across,
but you'll see that the posts come up here. They look kind of look like that. Okay. And now I've touched it. But so it may take a little while to sync across, but the post will come up, and it's nice and out there for the customers to see what you've got going on. Yeah, just another way to kind of keep that relevance, keep Google knowing that you are working on things in the background. You're not just leaving it and walking away.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So the next part that I'd love to talk about, which is I think my favorite part of Google My Business, is the review functionality. So just going to jump over to our review section on our listing here. So customers are really looking for reviews nowadays. I know that I personally rarely choose to interact with a business or even buy a product from a store before I read their reviews. my number one piece of advice is to ask your customers for reviews. So get in the habit or create a template that you can email out so that after a customer makes a purchase from you or after you've provided them with a service, email them and say, hey, did we do a good job? Can you please leave us a review, and provide them with a direct link to do so. So to get your link to send to customers to ask for reviews, you can click on Home from the menu. And then over on the right-hand side of your dashboard, there's a button here that says Share Review Form. And you can just copy that link and email that out directly to your customers, or it even has sharing buttons down here to share directly on Facebook or WhatsApp or Twitter, or send via email. That also gets back to that that handle that Carmel was talking about earlier on, where you can create your personal URL for your listing, and that will be displayed in your link that you share to ask people for reviews. So it looks more professional as well, having set up that custom URL. So the next most important thing with regards to reviews is to respond to your reviews. So both positive and negative. I know negative reviews can be very frustrating, but they are an opportunity to impress future customers. So if the negative review is fair, respond by acknowledging what happened and ensure that the customer that you want and assure the customer that you want to do better and have changed your systems to ensure the problem won't happen again. Unfair reviews are an opportunity to show that you're bigger than the problem. So be professional and use the opportunity to set the record straight. So even saying something like, unfortunately, we have no record of you being a customer. So this is in the case that you have received a review that was definitely from someone who wasn't even visiting who didn't even purchase from your store. You could say something like, unfortunately, we have no record of you being a customer of our business, but please contact us to ensure we can rectify your experience. So to manage your reviews, we can click on the link to reviews again. So I'll just jump onto our dashboard and click on reviews, and you'll see that we have replied to all of our customers who've given us a review.
So I just want to mention here also, I know that there's a lot of fear from a lot of businesses about reviews, and some of that's founded and some of it's not. What happens if somebody writes to me and leaves a rubbish review, or what if one of my competitors does so? I get that, and I understand that that's a legitimate fear. However, I think that the benefits of having a Google My Business listing and allowing those reviews to come in outweigh the fear factor. I think, as Adam just mentioned, you can see negative reviews as an opportunity rather than as a negative thing. And there is, if you do get unfair reviews, or you have a competitor that's spamming your reviews, there is a way of getting in touch with Google and actually asking them for support to rectify that situation. The other thing we've experienced is we've had businesses that perhaps have gotten reviews that are obviously mistakes. So somebody's written, oh, I really love this place, it's great, but I've only left 1 star. And so there is a way to contact that person or reply to that person and say, hey, I noticed that you said we were great, but you only left 1 star. Can you please jump on and edit your review? And we've had great success in terms of just being real with customers and asking them to fix things when they've actually just obviously made a mistake.
Yeah, I think that whenever as a customer, if I'm reading reviews for a business and there are 1-star reviews and someone's been very unhappy about something, I think the worst thing as a business owner that you can do is to just ignore it. And I think that when I am reading through 1-star reviews, if I can see that a business has replied courteously and acknowledged the problem and said that they're really sorry for what's happened, and then also explained what they're going to do to ensure that it doesn't happen again, that then gives me, as a potential customer, even though I've seen a 1-star review, if the business has replied and acknowledged the problem, then that also reassures me that the business is someone who I would want to do business with or purchase from. I know that we've had a few questions also about reviews, and I just think maybe now is a good time for us to jump in and answer those questions. So I think Lou has asked, can I choose what information is available on Google My Business? For example, I don't want reviews available as I don't have many. Unfortunately, no. Google does not give us the option to turn on and off the review section. It's always on. So unfortunately, no. I think that Google's reason behind that is because they want to have that consistency across all of their listings, and they also want everyone to be able to write a review for every business as well.
And I think, Lou, that probably leads really well into the next question from David, which is, when asking for reviews, should I have a template or something to have? I'm guessing I should have a consistent process, brand identity when doing this. I think, Lou, that kind of ties in with you as well. And Adam mentioned before, I think even if you don't have many now, ask for reviews. People generally are happy to write a review for you. They might not do it tomorrow, but asking for reviews, sending out an email, having it, a text message on your phone, whatever works for your business. I actually know some business have had little business cards printed, so that when they send, when they give them the receipt and a business card saying, hope you've had a great experience today. Use this link to review our business, please. Mm-hmm. And there's actually been some businesses that have had review incentives and like they draw a name out of the hat once a month from all the people that have reviewed them and, offered them a gift or something like that. But would you like to talk about a template?
Yes, we actually do have a template that we've spent a lot of time refining over the years, and we'd be really happy to share that with everyone. So we'll be sure to send our template onto the Kinaway team to send out or make available for everyone to use, and you can just tweak that and customize that for your business. But yeah, I think that having a template is extremely helpful to make the process easier. So absolutely, David, definitely recommend that.
Yeah, and that's a little automation that you can do for your business that makes it easier rather than makes it harder.
Mm-hmm.
Once a week, send them out. Or
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, fabulous. So, thank you. I'm going to go back to reviews. So you'll see, so this has got all reviews, but you'll see you can actually link through and see reviews that you haven't replied to, which is really handy if you kind of are getting a lot of reviews. You can click on there and just go through and do the work that you need to do. Mm-hmm. Okay, so final thing we want to mention in your Google My Business listing is that it allows you to understand your traffic and expand on your online presence. So you'll see over here, there's a section called Insights. This is really, really handy because it allows me to see how customers are finding my business on Google. For example, you'll see that we have 44 total searches. And so it actually breaks them down into direct searches and discovery. Direct searches are people that type Empower Digital into Google. That's a direct search. They've found me by my business name. Discovery is people that have accidentally found me. And that's the part that's really, really interesting. Unfortunately, for us, based on the number of searches we've had in the last month, there's not enough data for this selected time period for it to break down where those discovery searches are coming from. But check your Google My Business listing, because that's where you'll find things like the queries that people are using. So, for example, people have found us by typing in digital. People have found us by typing in empower into Google. So we can say, well, actually, no one's found us by typing in e-commerce. So I need to up my game in my Google My Business listing by making sure that keyword appears in my posts, making sure it appears in my categories, and working harder in those kind of areas to tweak my listing so that people are finding me when they put in those search terms. Okay, if we go down a bit further, it also will show me where people are finding me. So for us, most of our finds are coming through by people using a search engine, the Google search engine, but a few people have found us on maps. If you're a physical business, you might find this goes the other way. You'll find a lot more people finding you on maps and less listing on search. If I was a physical business, I'd probably want to see that more people were finding me on maps by typing in coffee shop near me, and I'd need to tweak my listing to make that action happen. It then tells me what customers are doing with the information they find. So it's saying, well, once they've found me, are they doing anything? Well, this many people have been directed to my website, this many people have called me, and there's actually a function that Adam might like to discuss with, so with Google My Business, you can manage it on a desktop, but you can also manage it through the Google My Business app on your iOS or Google Play device, Android device, and it actually has a messaging functionality.
Yeah, so I very, very much recommend that you download the Google My Business app, either on your iPhone or Android. And it unlocks a few extra features and functionality. So if you do have the app and you've signed in using your Google account, that automatically unlocks the messaging ability. So people will then be able to message you from your listing. So if they find your listing on Google, a message button will appear and they can message you, and you can reply to the messages. They'll pop up on your phone through the Google My Business app, and you can answer questions straight away directly through the app. So that is a really handy feature that only becomes available after you have downloaded the app and signed into it.
And so from a customer's perspective, again, we talk a lot about removing barriers for customer experience. So some people don't like to talk on the phone. I'm not a really big phone person. So some of your customers may not want to pick up the phone and call you. Some might want to find more information on your website, which is great. That's, what we love. But some people really want information right now. And that messaging, it gives the implication of more immediate contact than email. Even though we're all on email now, the idea of messaging somebody is a more instantaneous form of communication. And so some customers really like the ability to be able to message you right then and there. Of course, then it means that you have somewhat of a commitment to have a reasonable turnaround time with answering those messages as well. Okay, it keeps going. It breaks down my phone calls. It breaks down my photo views and the quantities of my photos. Something I'd really like to mention just now while we're talking about photos is I think it's also important to note with your Google My Business listing. As Adam said before about turning on and off reviews, I really feel that Google is on the searcher's side. It's really, its whole experience is zoned towards making sure that the user has the best possible experience. So what it can actually do is our users can actually add information, so if somebody asks a question about my business, another user in the community can actually answer that question. So that's another reason it's really important to be looking at your listing regularly to make sure there's nothing on there that someone's put on by mistake. People can actually add photos to your Google My Business listing, tag you in photos, which is actually really powerful 9 times out of 10. However, there have been some unfortunate circumstances where photos have been posted inappropriately or inaccurately. And so please keep an eye on your Google My Business listing. It's not set and forget, because there is that ability for those outside influencers, which 9 times out of 10 are really positive and really great for your business. But it's that 1 time out of 10 that you want to catch it straight away so that it doesn't get out of hand or reflect badly on your business.
As the business owner, you'll find that next to reviews or photos or any kind of user-generated or customer-generated content, there's always either a little flag or a little drop-down box where you can flag something as being inappropriate, and you can go through this process, and Google allows you as the business owner to either explain why you think that it should be removed, or there'll be options there about why you want to report the problem. And it does take a couple of days for the Google team to look at those, but if you get onto it straight away, they will review it and remove it if it is inappropriate.
That's right. And if you need support, further support with anything, you can actually go down into your support settings here on your Google My Business listing, and Adam knows the trick. If you go through far enough, you can actually call someone on the phone.
You can. So down the bottom, there's a contact us, and Google does make it a little bit tricky for you to get through. But if you continue to follow through the process, and you can't find your answer on their support docs, then if just keep persisting down that track, and eventually you'll find the phone number or email address to get directly in touch with the support team.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so of course, like there's many other elements that come together with your local search engine optimization strategy, but perfecting your Google My Business listing really is the most solid foundation you can give yourself. I'm just going to briefly show you a couple of other tools that we don't have time to go into today. We just talked about all of that, so that's fine. But here's some other search engine optimization tools for your local SEO strategy. And I will make sure that the Kinaway team has this available for you so that you can look at them yourselves. So briefly, make sure that your site is mobile friendly. So put your web address in here and test the URL just to make sure that it's optimized for both desktop and mobile. Particularly with so many of those local searches happening on mobiles now, you really need to make sure that your website is meeting that need for your clients. Okay, next, this is a really handy tool, this SEO site checkup. Now, there is a paid version, but the free version, I think, allows you to test one website per day. So it's really good. It'll go through and give you a ranking. I'm not sure how long it will take. It may take too long for us to sit here and watch right now. And you can actually compare it to other websites as well. So it'll come through. It'll say, yep, these things are really great about your website. Maybe check on this. Maybe check on this as well. Okay. So, oh, look, 100 out of 100. Gee, we're doing well. Oh, no, 96, 94. Oh, I was excited there for a moment. 95. That's not too bad. Okay. And it'll go through. It'll give you the ticks, the things that you do great, and then some crosses, some things that you can improve. So really great tool. Make the most of it. Okay, and the final SEO tool that I just want to tell you about today is this great free resource called Google's Digital Garage. Okay, it's free. You can sign in and register, and there are a heap of free courses, 136 courses, in fact, that take you through different elements that help your business and help you have a really solid online presence. So just in respect to what we've done today, they've got a search engine optimization fundamentals course, again, free. It is 13 hours, but that's why we can't get through all of this in one. So if you're really passionate about getting this right for your business, take the time to go through and do one of these courses, or maybe multiple of these courses, and that will really get you on the right track for your future.
Yeah. One last thing I want to have a quick look at, because I know that we're running out of time here. There are a few features on here that we haven't had a chance to talk about, but I just recommend for all businesses to have a look through this dashboard, because there's a few extra things in here that a few extra tools in here that you can utilize. You can add additional users to manage your account. There's also a fantastic marketing toolkit that you can download, which allows you to print out stickers and posters and things like that. You can also create a website, a really basic website, which is based off the information and photos in your Google My Business listing, which is fantastic for any new local business that just wants a really basic website. You can do that in here as well. So just jump into your listing and explore it and check out all the features that it has to offer.
Fabulous. So thank you for your time today. I know that we've got a few questions, so we'd love James to pop back in and we can have a little chat through those, and feel free to keep the questions coming.
Wonderful. Thank you again, both to Adam and Carmel for today's webinar. Obviously, some really valuable information it has been for the last 4 sessions, and I understand we have a few questions that came in as well, so which is great to see. And the first one is from Gregory, and he asks, is it the same sort of process for other search engines like Bing or Yahoo?
Great question, Gregory. So Bing and Yahoo are still out there in the market, and there's probably not quite the same level of flexibility that you have with those as with Google. My general advice is get your Google right first with your Google My Business listing, and then look at the strategies that you can use on those other search engines from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think we really do specialize in Google and all things Google and Google My Business, mainly because it's the most popular and definitely has the most use. So, but my understanding is that Bing and Yahoo do have similar services. So just definitely jump on and explore those.
Sure. Cool. I think we have another question. This one is from Errol. Do you consult to other businesses?
Yes, we definitely do. So our business is we specialize in one-on-one consulting with small businesses. So anything to do with e-commerce, Shopify, and Google My Business, absolutely, we are more than happy to consult with anyone one-on-one to help either claim your listing or optimize it, or show you in more detail how to manage it.
Yeah, and like we mentioned at the start, our passion really is empowering people. So, Errol, we work with businesses in terms of helping them to understand and helping them to feel confident and have the skills and knowledge to manage it themselves into the future.
Absolutely.
Sure. Wonderful. Another one here from Graham. Do many people use Google My Business's website builder? Your thoughts?
Only a couple of businesses that we've worked with are utilizing it. It is a fairly new feature of Google My Business. Up until very recently, it didn't even allow you to connect your own domain name. You had to use the Google generated domain name. So it is still very, very new, but it's something that they are, every time we sign in here, it seems like they've added a new feature to it. So it's something that Google is definitely working on and actively trying to improve. So I think that more and more businesses will start using it. I think it's fantastic. It's a great free tool. I'll just, if it's okay, I'll jump on and show you. Hopefully, be able to give you an example here. I know that we're not using ours, but it pulls in the information that you add to your info section and the photos. It kind of pulls everything to do with your listing in and makes a website out of it for you. So it's great for a small business that just needs a really basic website, doesn't want to have e-commerce on there or anything like that. That is really a really local business that just needs to have something basic up there. I think it's fantastic, and Google gives you some fairly basic tools to edit this. There's some pre-built themes. It's all very straightforward and easy to use, but yeah, it's great for a local small business that just needs something basic.
And if you are a business that is going to eventually need, an e-commerce site or whatever, this is better than nothing. So it's certainly a really great starter. It's free. If you've got nothing at the moment, jump on and make use of it.
Definitely.
Cool. Lovely. I think so. Another one here from Fran. She says, "I remember reading in economics, people respond to incentives. So I think Adam's point on possibly incentivizing providing a review is a good idea."
Yeah, thank you, Fran. I think it's something that as business owners we need to be really careful with, because I do think there are certain laws around, and I'm not an expert in the laws, but I think that there are laws around incentivizing positive reviews. I think we have to be really careful around how you go about it. But I definitely think I definitely think it's okay to say, hey, we'd love to hear about your experience, whether that's positive or negative. We'd love to hear your honest feedback. If you jump on and write a review about our business, here's a a gift card or a discount code or something like that, just to incentivize actually writing a review. But obviously we can't
tell them it has to be 5 stars.
No, that's right.
And I think the other thing about that comment before is that aspect of surprising and delighting our customers. So not even telling them, but picking someone out and say, hey, I noticed you gave us a review. Thanks for taking the time. Here's a gift. And it's about that surprising and delighting our customers, because that's word of mouth. Oh, do you know what that company did? Or I'm going to use them again because they were spot on.
Wonderful. I am conscious of time, so we have a couple more, so we'll try to get through these really quickly. This one is from Jerry, and he asks, should I use those customer interaction insights when working on my marketing plan and strategy?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Yeah, Jerry, absolutely. I think those insights, they're by no means extensive, and there's certainly other tools that you can get out there to see how people are finding your website, such as Google Webmaster Tools and Google Analytics.
Definitely.
However, they're a really good basis for that local SEO strategy to see what people in your area are searching for, how they're finding you, and what you need to improve in that area.
100%.
Wonderful. Cool. And so the next one is from Isaac Harrison, and he asked, last week you mentioned a sitemap. Do we submit that to Google My Business?
No, Isaac. That's a different tool that Google offers called Google Webmaster Tools or Google Webmaster Console. They keep changing the name of it, but I'll open that up really quickly here again, just to as a refresher.
Yeah. And we have a follow-up as well from the above question, is from Elizabeth Little, and she asks, and how often in regards to the above question?
So just first of all, so this is Google Search Console, which is where you submit your sitemap. And because this is based around, I know that all these tools that Google offers, it's tricky to keep track of which one is for what purpose. So Google Search Console is a different tool that tracks how people are finding your website. So it's different to Google My Business, which is more about local search and
how they're finding your Google My Business listing.
Yes, but what we definitely do recommend you do in Google My Business is there is a section in here where you can put your website address in. So in Google My Business, very, very important to actually put your website URL in your business listing, because that will definitely help to drive traffic to your website from people who are searching for you in local search, and then finding your local search listing, then clicking on your website to visit your website to find out more information. So in Google My Business, link your website, and Google Webmaster Tools is where, over here, Google Search Console, is where you would submit your sitemap.
Beautiful.
Sure.
Now, sorry, James, just how often read the above question. I'm not quite sure which question that was referring to. I'm so sorry, Elizabeth. In terms of, I'm not sure about the sitemap, or it might have been about the marketing plan, but please feel free to type in and correct me, Elizabeth. But in terms of timing for Google My Business listing, I would put it in your calendar. I would do it once a fortnight, and I would jump on, spend an hour, maybe you don't even need an hour, but jump on, check that your information's correct, check nothing's changed. Google changes things quite a lot. So those categories can change. Some can drop off and they can add new ones. So you can actually be ahead of your game by jumping onto those categories and just checking that nothing's changed. Because if they've added a new category and you're one of the first to add it, then automatically you're going to be top of those search results because you're the only one that's got that. Check your reviews and send out those templates for customer reviews. I would do that really regularly, as soon as you've made a sale, or even if that's not possible, weekly or fortnightly.
No worries. Okay, this will have to be the last question for this morning, and this is from John, and he asked, do we insert Google Analytics in Google My Business?
No.
They're separate tools.
Yeah. So
sorry, can I just,
yeah,
sorry.
definitely.
So they're separate tools. So you would use Google Analytics to give you information and feed what you're doing for your website. Google My Business is separate, and you just kind of look at those insights within the listing.
Mm-hmm. So the difference between the tools are that Google Analytics is all about giving you information about what your customers are doing once they've reached your website. It does show you how how it's called, how you've acquired your customers. So it will show you where they're coming from. It'll show you, it'll give you information about if they've found you via your Google My Business listing, or via search engine, or via social media. So Google Analytics tracks how people have found you, how the visitors to your website have found you, and then what they're doing once they've reached your website. So it'll show you what pages are most popular. It'll show you how long they're spending on each page. It'll show you what they're clicking on, and you can even integrate e-commerce on there as well. So it'll show you e-commerce statistics about how often people are buying certain products. So Google Analytics is about your website and how people have found you on your website. So you don't need to do anything. It'll automatically detect that people are clicking on your website from Google My Business, and it'll show you if they're doing that. Then the next tool was Google Search Console that we talked about. Google Search Console is about how your website is doing in the search engine. So in Google search engine, sorry. So it'll show you how high you're ranking in search engines. It'll show you what pages are doing well in search engines. It'll show you if people have found your. It'll show you if people have found your listing in the search engine, and what keywords that you're appearing for. So everything about how your website is doing in Google search is what Search Console is all about. And then Google My Business is your local search profile. So it's like a business directory. So it's a free business directory that Google has. So it's another place for you to advertise your business, and it's really tied in with Google Maps. And so when people are searching on maps and things like that, it allows you to control how they're viewing your business on their local search. And within Google My Business, as we showed earlier on, it has its own analytics section in there that you can see more detailed information about how your business listing is doing, and what people are, if people are calling you, or if people are visiting your website, and all that sort of stuff. So 3 different tools for 3 different purposes. I know it can get a bit confusing about what each one does. Hopefully that kind of answers the question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, it can be a bit confusing, but after having you both on, it's really helped just build that knowledge and build that understanding, around the various different sort of aspects to e-commerce and building that online presence. So again, I'd just like to thank you both for joining us this morning and for the past few weeks as well. There's been some really helpful and useful content that you provided us all with over these webinars, particularly with all that's happening in today's current climate, and as businesses look at ways to adapt to that. So on behalf of the Kinaway team and the Kinaway members, we would just really like to thank you both for joining us for the past few weeks.
Thank you so much, James. We've been delighted.
Yeah, absolutely, James. Thank you so much. And thank you to you and Isaac and all the Kinaway team. And thank you to everyone who has tuned in over the last 4 weeks. We really appreciate your time, and we feel very honoured and privileged to be able to present this series, and so thankful for the opportunity. So thank you so much. And if anyone has any questions on anything, or would like to get in touch with us, we're more than happy to answer any further questions, help with your Google My Business profile, or help set you up with a Shopify development free trial, anything like that. Please let us know. We'd love to love to help. So thank you so much, James.
No, you're welcome. And like I said, if any members can feel free to reach out to you, or if they want to reach out to Kinaway, then we can obviously put them in touch with yourself as well. So once again, thanks for coming along. This isn't the last time that we will see you both, because we're excited to announce that you'll be back in a few weeks' time as well, and we'll touch on a bit more detail in the search engine optimization side of things. So once again, thank you. For the rest of you Kinaway community, don't forget to tune in this Monday at 6 p.m. as we have Lee Couch from LA Couch Health and Wellness presenting a meditation themed webinar. Also, if you think the Kinaway business support package may be of value to your business, please jump on the Kinaway website and fill out your EOI to get access to these business support packages. In the meantime, please subscribe to the Kinaway channels, turn on the notifications, and enjoy your weekend, and we will see you all on Monday.